This video is going to be a look at the Browns' fourth possession from their 13-3 win over the Ravens on Saturday night. One where, to be honest with you, I stopped charting. I was kind of pissed off, and I was correct about an issue, and I was also incorrect at the same time. I mistakenly thought and identified in the reaction video that the Browns ran like 5 out of 6 plays to the boundary. That is not correct. They actually ran 5 out of 6 plays to their left. I'm not sure what that dynamic is. I do think it's interesting that in the last 2 weeks in division games against the Steelers and then the Browns, they have actually attacked Marlon Humphrey far more than they attacked Marcus Peters' side. Interesting dynamic. I don't have an explanation for it, to be honest with you, and won't offer comment because I don't, to be honest with you, at this point, know how to quantify it. So we're going to go through the plays, and I'll break down certain elements of them. This is actually to the field. I thought this was to the boundary. It's a 1st and 10 from the -25. The score is 3-all right now. Hamilton hesitates a little bit on this out. I felt like the Browns were kind of telling us certain things depending on who they put in the slot. In this case, this is Donovan Peoples-Jones. Typically, the backside player is Amari Cooper. When they put him in the slot, I felt like it was 100% pass, but we'll see. Maybe we'll find one that was not. But in any case, it's going to be an out by him, and you got inside leverage by Hamilton, and his eyes are in the backfield, and I think we're just too late in shifting our focus to the man on the out, and then there's a real hesitation there that you guys see right around, I think, the 31-yard line at the bottom of the numbers. He's doing it right now, basically, instead of playing the man and recognizing that, in this case, Peoples-Jones is turned around looking for the football. Now, his hands aren't up yet, and that's the reason why Hamilton is looking. If he's shown hands early, then Hamilton would, of course, be jumping it or challenging the ball. In my opinion, his eyes were bad at the beginning of the play by having his eyes focused in here. Now, granted, he's getting his run-pass read off of there because the back is on the other side, so he's worried about a sweep play to his side, which you'll actually see in 2 plays from now. So they get the drive started off good, a 6-yard completion to the field. Still a dangerous throw, if you ask me. If Hamilton plays it better, opportunity for a pick 6. Same formation, flipped to the field now, so a right-handed formation, except this time it's not Peoples-Jones in the slot. You do have the tight end to the side of the trip, so I call this Trey. And then the back to the backside, and then again your X receiver to the opposite side. 2nd and 4. Cut back off the sweep, same play I just described while showing the first down pass play, and that's why Hamilton's looking in the backfield. He's trying to defeat any block by the number 2 receiver here, who isn't even trying to block him. It's an interesting play, if you ask me. He's going to get the safety, basically leaving Hamilton unblocked totally. It's a sweep play. People call it wide zone, whatever. It's been in playbooks for 60, 70 years, and it was called sweep then. It's the same look now, same track by the back. In this case, Watson appears to be possibly reading the backside D end, so adds another element of danger to this Browns offense versus when they had Jacoby Brissett in there at quarterback and he wasn't, really an option threat. Chubb tries to cut it back. I thought he got the first down. He did not. They ruled him short. Sets up a 3rd and 1. Same formation, except now under center. Look at the alignment of the Ravens. This happens twice in the game. You have a tight end here, and our edge player is lined up way inside. We're thinking QB sneak because we see the quarterback under center. Hamilton, again, is inside of number 2, except now the safety's in the middle of the field. Hamilton, I think, plays this quite poorly. For having his eyes in the backfield, in my opinion, he is not attacking at all. Soft. And then also we've created a soft, I don't mean that Hamilton is soft. I mean his attempt at taking on the block on this play is soft. We're not getting any forward movement to try to, jig this receiver or this blocker back into the backfield. Simultaneous to that, really soft edge created. Chubb gets the edge easily on a 3rd and 1. Look at the wall that they've created. The wall that you've got there. You can't really see the Browns blockers. Again, because of the alignment of our edge player being inside, it's quite easy for them to go down and seal us off. And Njoku has got nobody to block. 19-yard gain on a 3rd and 1. Pretty embarrassing if you ask me. The offense deserves most of the blame for this loss, no doubt. But the defense deserves some if you ask me. And this, to me, is a possession that kind of really illustrates it. Same formation, attacking back to the boundary now. So they're pulling the tackle. So we would call this dart if it was with the quarterback, but they're blocking the end. So they're locking the backside and just pulling the tackle into the boundary. Again, we've got Hamilton set to the field, to the 3 receiver side. Same formation, like I said. Number 1 receiver, number 2 receiver. Here's the tight end back on the other side. So it's Trey Wright B in the system that I know. And we're playing, in my opinion, we should have been in a 3 backside to the boundary oftentimes against this Browns team when the boundary was to their left. They wanted to attack to the boundary. You get a nice gain on a 1st and 10 there by Hunt, 5-6 yards. Creates a 2nd and 5. All right, now it gets, really, to be honest with you, a little bit frustrating. We'll let this run multiple times. We're getting a 3-man rush, but look at the drops that we're getting. You talk about our offense having receivers near each other. There's a lot of people who and if you think I'm talking to you, I might be. There's a lot of people who post up still pictures of our receivers running routes near each other, and sometimes it's mid-concept, like mesh. I've seen that like 6 times in the last year. It's hilarious, that people don't understand what mesh is. But in any case, look at this. Look how many defensive guys we've got from hash, not even to the top of the numbers. We're talking about hash to halfway from the top of the numbers and the other hash, or maybe a little bit more. We are totally misaligned here. Something is wrong with this coverage, guys. It looks like it should be cover 3. Bowser's dropping out. Oweh's dropping out. We're blitzing Roquan. I'm not sure who it's supposed to be, but to me, we've got between these 3 guys, I think we've got 2 mistakes. I think 2 guys are misaligned. I think Queen is probably supposed to be somewhere in this area here. I think Clark is probably supposed to be in this area here. Bowser is the flat player. Hamilton is the flat player. You got cover 3. I suspect that Oweh is supposed to rush. I could be wrong. But very rarely do you see cover 3 with a 3-man rush. I don't see it that much. And I'm someone who has rushed 3 before in games at multiple levels and advocate that we should do so at times. This is rushing 3 and leaving yourself curl flat, and now your corner has got to be locked up in man. Once he sees one release vertical, just too much depth. Too much depth by Marlon. I understand it's cover 3, or it, kind of looks like cover 3 to me. They attacked Marlon Humphrey's side more than they did Marcus Peters' side. Interesting to me because of the type of season that he's had. I know that he didn't allow a ton of catches against the Browns and didn't allow a ton of yards like he did the week before against the Steelers. In my opinion, he still did not play well. I don't think he played to the standard that he has played. Look, this is like the 8th or 9th time I've seen this concept run against us. And it's in the last 2 years, and it's almost always run to our left. Now, the Cleveland Browns last year with Baker Mayfield ran it to this side, okay, over, Yankee, whatever people want to call it. Sometimes there's a running back out in the flats, so you get a little bit of a flood element to it. In this case, you're getting a vertical by one who's pushing, and this is a zone blitz. So it's 3 deep, 1, 2, 3 deep, and 3 under. And we're bringing 5. Now, there's a clear hold on Bowser here. Don't get me wrong. There absolutely is a hold. But this is wide open against what is conceptually a man. Conceptually, this is a zone defense. They're throwing over top of the flat player, who is Queen. And Queen, to me, is looking for the cross, so he's got some really good film study that's happened that he understands. However, he's not getting enough depth, if you ask me, and there's just too much space between the second level of the defense, which is here, and the third level of the defense, which is here. Is it possible that Queen could maybe be another 2 yards off, and Humphrey could pass this off to Williams? Yes, and then attack, the over concept? Yes, I've seen that happen before. That's one of the ways you can play it out of cover 3. But he's trying not to give up the big play to Cooper. who is running a legitimate vertical route. Watson is reading it and getting rid of the ball on time because there is no pressure. Again, Bowser is clearly being held. Do not feel like our zone blitzes have benefited us this year greatly. I could be wrong there. I'm willing to admit I may be wrong. We may have got more sacks on our 5-man rushes than I believe. All right, this one I am really incapable of absolving our defense of blame. Again, another play to the left, to the boundary. All right, you got a receiver here in the slot. He's in a receiver stance. You've got a tight end in a flat stance over here. What does the flat stance let you, it lets you get out here. It lets you go to the other side. You can go vertical. You can run block from it. This stance does not. All right, this stance is generally a stance to run a pass concept. Now, what he's doing is he's blocking the edge player, and they're giving the run action to the field, and then Njoku is running out into the flats, and he is a wide open. Looks like, a version of quarter half to me. But if it is, I don't know who the hell is supposed to be defending the flats up into the boundary. It's possible that it's Queen. That is possible. He is certainly the guy who's late trying to recover to Njoku. This is a big moment here where it looks like they're getting ready to score a touchdown. Conceptually, very similar to the play I just showed you. You've got, a slower developing route here. Cooper, I think that route's not drawn up exactly the same. And then Njoku in the flats. It's basically the mirror version of what I drew up a couple of moments ago, breaking down that other play. In my opinion, there has to be some times where we put Kyle Hamilton to the boundary. Because it seems to me teams are attacking us to the boundary often, either in the flats, which the flats is, like out here. The curl is, out here. This is very basic. The hook, the low hole is the in between the hashes. The hook, the curl, and then the flats. Now, I've got a weird, angled view of this field, so my apologies for those letters looking very elementary. But in my opinion, in this game against the Browns, they're attacking us here often. And maybe we adjusted later. Again, this is the 4th possession. They used to go up 6-3, and I'm willing to admit it's possible we adjusted later. I feel like there's got to be times where Hamilton is to the flats, to the boundary, and we play quarter half the other way. So we play the half over here with Marlon, and then the quarter over here to the field with, a curl flat player over here. So someone who's got to defend the curl and the flat to the field. Do I know who that is? No, I don't. It's possible that it's Marcus Williams, but the structure of our defense, Marcus Williams is our right safety, Chuck Clark is our left safety, Marlon is our right corner, and Peters is our left corner. So we might give away our coverage by doing that. In my opinion, the Browns attacked us away from the nickel, often away from Kyle Hamilton. And when they did attack us to Kyle Hamilton, they gave us trips, like I showed you on 3 of the first 4 plays on this possession. All right, look at the concept. I know he comes back to Njoku, and it's a great pass breakup by Kyle. It's a 1st and goal. Kyle is actually calling the play out pre-snap. It's a great pass breakup here. I mean, he arrives maybe a split second later than you'd want him to. Look at him pre-snap. I haven't seen anybody else indicate yet. He's pointing, not sure what he's saying, but that ends up being the intended direction of the play. Look, they just attacked us into the flats. They're doing the same thing again. Now, we cover it up this time. Marcus Williams covers up Cooper. Humphrey takes Baldwin into the flats. So there's nothing available. We've got it covered here. We've got it covered here. You got some short routes here with the running back and the tight end late, and Kyle's able to cover it up. To me, it appears obvious on this possession that they're attacking us to the boundary, to their left, our right, even though 3 of the first 5 plays I showed you did go on this possession did go to the field. So I believe I was incorrect in my reaction video stating that the Browns attacked us on 5 out of 6 plays to the boundary. It appears to me it was 5 out of 6 plays to their left or right, which in 3 of those cases did end up being into the boundary. I think I said those numbers correct. If I did not, let me know. That was a first down play. Nice job by Hamilton. Now this is a second down. And you can see that they've got Peoples-Jones in the slot. So it's Pro Twins B. Chubb is on the opposite side. I said in my preview video, I felt like they like to run into the boundary with Chubb. Here goes one of those examples. And our guys do a fantastic job of this. Washington, Bowser, I think it's Matabike, Chuck Clark closing down. I thought that they were going to keep this a little more often, especially to the field. That's what running into the boundary does. You know, especially when you're running into the boundary with a guy like Nick Chubb, who's a badass. You know, you get a lot of flow in that direction. You got an athletic quarterback. Let him keep it. Get out here, play 2-on-2. When I say play 2-on-2, I mean Cooper, Watson, can't get the circle going, versus Clark and Peters. Play 2-on-2. Really stressing that backside inside linebacker, which in this case is Roquan Smith, and he plays it brilliantly here. Fitting over the top of Matabike. I'm not doing the end zone angle on a lot of these for real, just to try to get this content out quickly. If you don't enjoy the videos as much without the end zone angle, let me know, and I'll try to include it more often. I feel like getting these out quicker on weeks when we lose is beneficial for myself because Ravens fans don't watch as much content when the Ravens lose, and I'm trying to give you reasons. I'm trying to give you strategy that I think the Browns were employing. Whether it was successful for 4 quarters or not, I don't think it was. It was certainly successful on this 4th possession. All right, trips to the field. Tight end and halfback backside. And they go to Njoku. We did a nice job. I think Kurt Warner covered it here. This is where Kurt Warner kind of woke up on the broadcast team and actually started to give some input. All right, you got Cooper running the under. Marcus is going to help out on the inside leverage, and then Peters is going to be on the outside leverage. So it's a fade by number 3. They're attacking Chuck Clark. Awesome concept by them. And then I think you're getting a whip in by number 2 or China in. So he'd be the third part of this structure. To me, it would be number 1 here, number 2 here, and then, maybe number 3 here. But I think they're really just trying to occupy us with Hamilton. And Hamilton's doing a pretty good job. But look, this is the types of routes that Hamilton has had some trouble with, is change of direction routes out in the flats. And then they're attacking Clark with the fade. Up to the backside, they got Marlon one-on-one with the tight end. I think they're just wasting him. They're just saying, we're going to give you our least talented guy because we're not attacking you here. And then the running back running out into the flats. Setting your nickel to the field is not unusual, okay? If you're unfamiliar with it, setting your nickel to the field is not unusual. In my opinion, I think it's possible that people have seen us in our nickel defense set the nickel Hamilton to the field, like 95% of the time or some crazy number. And so they're like, okay, well, we're going to attack to the boundary in certain situations. And I think that's what the Browns did. Even though, like I showed you, 3 of the first 4 plays was going to the field on this possession. You may not think field and boundary is a big deal in the NFL because the hashes are so close together. I do admit that it is less of a deal. The further you go, the higher you go up in the level of football, high school, college, pro, and then even the highest level of the NFL, the less field and boundary oriented people are. In some cases, the Browns actually are the reverse. They like to run into the boundary with Nick Chubb because they're running their best player into the boundary, forcing you to defend that. And I suspect, and I can't prove this, that the Browns decided to focus on the boundary. They basically inverted their run concepts and some of their play action stuff on this 4th possession. The run fake was to the field, and the play action was coming back into the boundary to to their left or right, oftentimes on this possession. I think they did that strategically, and I think the Ravens took too long to adjust. We only gave up a field goal here, but it very easily could have been a touchdown. I think the defense played way better than the offense. The defense played well enough to win. I don't have huge complaints about the defense. My complaints are minor. There was actually one play I didn't talk about pre-snap identification, so I was remiss there. But let me know if you guys appreciate or like these videos talking about a possession on our defense and some of the progressions of play calls that people are using against us, and maybe speculating, half speculation, half original thought on my part as to why they're attacking us that way. And again, I think it's very telling that in the last 2 weeks against the Steelers and Browns, division opponents, they've attacked Marlon Humphrey far more than they have Marcus Peters. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know what you think of the video in the comment section. If you really enjoyed it, please consider sharing a link to this video on social media to help the video get more reach.